Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel, broad lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the spirit and fair use, fair use. I get no money from this content. Fair use, fair use. This is just to inform an audience about biblical prophecy and the trends of the world. I'm making no money for this content, but this is from Destro Reborn, and I love this channel, man, because whoever this is, homie, he be cooking. He be cooking, and he gets on a lot of these Western women, predominantly the black women, with the I don't need a man attitude, and we're the most educated, and we're the most desired, which all that's cap. But basically it says independent black woman lost 106,000 jobs. Guess who's laughing? All right. And like we told you black women before, there's going to come a time that your chickens are going to come home on a roost, literally. Okay. Your ducks that you've been putting in a row are getting knocked down piece by piece. All that pride, all that mouth, all that evil, all that wickedness, all that shit talking you've been doing the last 50, 60 plus years, degrading the so-called black man, spitting on him and kicking him while he's down. Now the joke is getting ready to be on you black women. It says 106,000 jobs lost. So-called black women. Now they on TikTok, they're ranting, they're crying, they're asking for help. But reality of it is, you so-called black women, you don't have any help coming to you. Okay, your white lover, your Edomite counterpart, he's left you, okay, because really Esau never wanted anything to do with you. But basically what happened was Esau weaponized the woman. He weaponized her by giving her certain freedoms and liberties, giving her certain jobs and positions, ultimately making her the head of the household, which is a total weapon, has given her the license to destroy her household, her children, her husbands. And this is the result of it today. A bunch of broken single parent homes with a bunch of hoes, a bunch of bonnet wearing wenches, weaves and eyelashes and long fingernails. Just thotties, man. They call themselves baddies. But this is the result of when you put power in a woman's hand, which proves she's incapable of handling it, man. So Esau has used this woman as a weapon to totally destroy our nation, and it's worked. But it says in April, black women experienced the largest job loss of any demographic group, losing 106,000 jobs, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It says this resulted in the highest month-to-month increase in unemployment among all racial and gender groups, jumping from 5.1 to 6.1. The overall black employment rate rose up 6.3%, and in April, 6.2% in March, man. And the numbers are going to continue to go up because basically Esau is cutting you off. Okay, he's basically giving you that bill of divorce because, you've served your purpose. And ultimately, the Most High is just getting sick of your shit, man. He's tired of you. All the disrespect, the stunting on the, flexing on Jake. It's just enough is enough. Like going back to 2014, labor statistics claim that it was a study, and you can't listen to all these studies, but black women use this to their advantage. Well, black women are the most educated. Okay, well, when you think of education, there's different forms of education. Okay, education doesn't always mean that you're educated properly, and just because you are enrolled in school doesn't mean you're getting an adequate education. But basically, you are the most enrolled. Okay, in fact, the Asian or the Chinese or the Asian people are the most educated, as they have a 40-something, I think they have like a 46% graduation rate. But yet it's statistically proven that over 81% of so-called blacks drop out of college. They don't finish. So how are you the most educated? You're the most enrolled because Esau has weaponized you. And once again, you make up the most enrolled in college because you are the most rebellious. Okay, you've taken that, I don't need a man, I can do bad by myself. And you've taken all these opportunities that the serpent has given you because he's laid them out for you. And you fell for the bait. This is why you go to college at record numbers, because you do it to defy not being, or you do it to defy being under the man. That's the reason why you go to college then and go in these particular fields, because you want to prove without a doubt that you're better than your male counterpart. Okay, instead of working with us, you work up against us. So therefore, you hop at the opportunity to go to college. You know, you go out and you be hoes. You spend 4 years in college, maybe 5, and you will be a hoe all 5 years, and then you would get out, and then you may get a career or something like that a year or two later, and then you go fuck everybody in the corporate world, and then by the time you're 35, 36 years old, you used up maybe 2 or 3 kids, or if you have any kids, now you want to settle down and find a man once the pussy is riding. And this is the statistic among majority of you Black, Hispanic, and Native American women, mainly you Black women. Okay, the reason why you are enrolled in college the most is because you deliberately defy family. You defy having marriages, man. And then if you do get married, you expect the man to make $250,000 just to keep your lifestyle fixated upon folly, man. Okay, now I'm gonna look something up real quick. Education meaning. Okay, it says the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or university. Okay, it says systematic meaning that the foundation is laid out for you. That's why I mentioned that just because you get an education doesn't mean it's the right education. Because like I said, the majority of you go off to school because your mothers tell you, look, go get a career, go to college, meet your rich white man, and fuck a nigga. Skip a nigga. That's the reason why you go to college, because you want to prove that you can do better than a so-called black man. So it's really a supposed to be flex on Jake, you know, but at the same time, you have an 81% dropout rate. So what are you flexing on, right? But anyway, I'm going to play a couple of minutes of this video, and he going to be cooking because, hey, Keisha's getting ready to fill that barn, man. And, hey, don't come around us. Don't come around us. For real. You Black women, we're through with you. Okay, like I tell brothers all the time, you catch me deal. And I mean, I'll say it this way. You do have a few decent sisters out there. I'm not going to cap and say that ain't no decent Black women, but as a collective, they are trash, man, all right? But I did have the luxury of meeting a good actually so-called Black woman, you know what I'm saying? She may be, I think she's a Benjamite, you know? But, you know, the parents are married, traditional, you know, all the sisters are married. You know, the mother completely submits to the father, so she grew up with that mindset. So that's all she knows is how to serve a man. So, I mean, that's literally a needle in a fucking haystack. But the rest of them, you don't really see it in them. You know, and we're finding out through these particular programs and prophecy, and they're getting ready to lose, man. So fuck them. Let them lose. But anyway, here we go.
177,000 jobs. And the overall unemployment rate held steady at like 4.2%. However, the picture is drastically different for Black women. Their unemployment rate jumped from 5.1% in March to 6.1% in April, translating to 106,000 jobs lost.
Oh, no.
The most significant drop among all demographic groups.
I don't need no man.
I don't need no man.
Flashback. Black women are running circles around men.
Right.
And it's also shown in research that women want to marry on their same level of financial and educational status.
Yeah.
So if you're a Black woman making $150,000 a year with a master's degree.
And see, you got to hear this shit from a bitch, a fucking woman that don't even wear her own hair. All right. I mean, for one thing, that shows you that they hate themselves, because for one thing, why are you wearing why are you wearing a so-called white woman's hair, man? And the crazy part about it is, it should be blonde, and then she's telling you that she don't need you, or she gets mad when you actually go deal with a snow bunny, but yet she got all that shit on her head, man. It's like the fucking irony of these women, man. It's just like the pride, man. Only 2.5% of nigga women make $150,000 a year. That's less than 5%. So, and that's talking about actual job, working a career in a field. This ain't talking about OnlyFans and being hoes, because we know that a lot of these women, when the well runs dry, a lot of them result to OnlyFans. You know, a lot of them result into, you know, going on a hoe stroll, which that's finna be a big thing now. Okay, prostitution. because they ain't got no jobs. So the OnlyFans market is becoming what they call hoflation, meaning OnlyFans, back pages, whatever website, selling pictures and videos and all that other stuff. That's getting ready to be the norm for the majority of them. And majority of them do that anyway because they just a bunch of whores, man. Okay, you got women that's 19 years old, 20 years old, that could have gotten married or, you know, done something with their lives, but yet they would rather go show their body on OnlyFans because they got the likings of Bad Baby, you know what I'm saying? They got, what's this other chick name? You got Latto, you got Ice Spice, you got Sexy Red, you got Glorilla, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, you got Cardi B, you know, Beyonce, you know, and that's just to name a few of these ratchets out here. But they see that and they aspire to be that way, so therefore they will go and throw away a relationship of potentially good mate just to go out there and be hoes and then complain about it years later when nobody wants them. That's why when you go to Sunday brunches, you see them all in there. They all angry. They all got the little fake ass baby hair with the weave. That's another thing. How you wear weave and you got fake baby hair, bro? You know, and I'm not even trying to be funny, but they come in there, they have that real pumpers and that resting bitch face, that they got that scowl on their face. Like, ugh, don't mess with me, but yet you lonely, you insecure, you have dead, you don't know how to communicate, you have no people skills at all. Only thing you know is eyelashes, makeup, fake hair, and somewhat of an ass. Diet is horrible, attitudes are horrible. And this is what we have to choose from, man. And then they come in a restaurant in droves and flocks, and they'll sit back in the corner and they just mean mug everybody. And the minute you give them eye contact, they feel some type of way because they think you want to talk to them when literally you were just scouting the room. You know, so it's just like, nah, bro, it's just, y'all ain't it. And you finding that out.
You want to marry on their same level of financial and educational status.
Yeah.
So if you're a black woman making $150,000 a year with a master's degree, you tend to want to marry a black man on that same level or higher. If black women are excelling at such an accelerated rate, how do men keep up with that?
No, stop. You've been editing reels wrong. Try this app instead. Just upload your photos.
Now, my brothers, let's be honest. How many lies have we already debunked about the strong, independent black woman? I mean, we've been told over and over that they're leading the charge in home ownership.
This can't be right. This can't be right.
And that they're the most educated demographic in America. They shout these talking points from TV screens and social media like we don't know how to use Google or something.
So, black women are, of course, the most educated group among all groups.
Ashley just gave an anecdote, but the numbers also show black women are one of the most educated demographics in this country.
Yeah, you see how the serpent looking at him? He looking like, this bitch is delusional. He said, you don't even realize that Esau weaponized you and he set you up. The reason why you have the opportunity you have is not because you're smart, not because you're smarter than Jake. Okay, you were given an opportunity. It's just kind of like going into an amusement park and you have what they call the express lane, the free to go pass. When you get to bypass the line because you paid extra, you get to cut the whole line and get on the ride first. And that's basically what he did. In exchange for your destroying of your family, your men, your children, he's allowed you to get these benefits. And that's just what it is. You know, they pride on, you know, like I work with these hoes at work. And I'm like, yeah, my program is getting up and running. Oh my God, I'm excited. I wrote this, I wrote that. And back in my mind, I'm like, y'all did all this, but y'all ain't got no man. Y'all stay at home with y'all mamas. Y'all fucking 40 plus years old. But yet you come in and you want to make the fucking white man rich. It's like, it's the irony of this place, man, you know? But anyway, let's go here, precept real quick, because it's all about pride. All right, so this is the book of Proverbs 16. And I'm going to start at verses 18. It says, pride goeth before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. Okay? And Keisha, you in the time now that you're falling head first. And it's the spirit because if you pay attention, Esau and Eve are going down head first on the world stage. And by default, that proves right there that they was always in bed to destroy the men, man. All this child support shit, alimony, the marriage contract, the Section 8, all this stuff, man. That was all set up to totally weaponize Eve against the Israelite man. And it's worked, you know? But they're going down head first. The world is speaking out against Esau, Edom, and the world is speaking out against the so-called black woman. And what are the chances that they erected a 12-foot statue of a fat black woman on the most popular corner in the world, which is Times Square, New York? Okay, every walk of life or every ethnicity on this planet Earth has stepped foot across Times Square. That's one of the most iconic places on the planet Earth to this day. Times Square in New York. And they put a big fat black woman at the peak of her pride right there just to show the world a mockery of you. The world makes mockery of you, Keisha. The world is not with you. Okay, your little deluded mind. And the only person that would have had your back was a so-called black man, but you totally destroyed that dynamic. So Jake ain't coming for your rescue, man. They're not bailing you out. And righteously so, you know. But it says, better is to be of a humble spirit with the lowly. And Keisha, she ain't trying to be lowly. Okay, Keisha wants to be better than you. Okay, she wants to leave you in the dirt. And she's the only group of women, or they're the only group of women that literally want to compete and outdo their men. Hey, you don't see the Chinese woman acting like that towards our man. She follows him. She believes in his vision. She's not trying to fucking take the role in the middle of the drive. You know, he's driving a car and she wants to hop in the driver's seat and flip the car over. Only Keisha do that. Instead of working with you. And if they are working with you, they got to be behind some type of, they got to be conditional of some type. You know, everything they do is conditional. Well, only how I can submit is if he make this amount of money. Well, I can do this and that if he's doing this. Or if he's bringing this to the table, then I can do it. You know, it's just never unconditional. It's always with terms and conditions with this bitch. And that's why don't nobody want her, man. You know, she's just like something to freak off with. You know, like they're fun to freak off. I mean, they're fun to do things with, you know, because, I mean, she's the fetishized, I mean, the black woman is the most fetishized woman about on the planet Earth. And that's because she's an Israelite woman, but also she's been conquered. So people see her as nothing more but a sex symbol, man. And that's why Jake is pumping and dumping. They deal with her and then they'll cut her loose because they know nothing can come of it. But it says, better is it to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoils with the proud, man. All right. And you've divided the spoils with the proud. The Lord said it. He said it's better to be in the spirit with the lowly. Be humble. Be patient. But instead, when Esau kicked your man down, you spat at him. You know, and you still doing it to this day. So nobody's coming to rescue you, man. You're on your own. All right.
And one of the least paid.
All of these studies have come out saying that black women are the best leaders, that black women are the most educated, that black women are the ones who are most likely to make a business successful, that black women essentially are an asset.
Wait, there was an article that just came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is black women. So let me be clear. Because
When the mainstream media...
You just see the spirit on. Let me be clear, like, bitch, who the fuck are you talking to like that? Like, you trying to demand something. Like, you have no power. Okay? Everybody on the planet Earth that have 2 brain cells working know that you are nothing but a pawn in the fucking game. Okay? You the one that's trying to make yourself relevant and trying to get all this validation. Who you validating? Validate yourself. That the world don't respect you, man. Everybody's seeing that you are nothing but a pawn in the game. That's it. And you expendable. And Esau is showing you, because how does 106,000 black women get laid off? And the crazy part about it is the unemployment rate dropped for Jake. I think Jake Man was like at a 6-point-some%. Now the Jake Man is roughly like 5-point-some%. So you had like, I think like 40,000 jobs or 40,000 Jakes that may have gotten in the job market over the last month, and 106,000 of you have totally just fell behind, man. And that shows you a transition right there. Jake is on a come up, man. And y'all getting worse. Especially when your aid runs out, your child support runs out. Because eventually child support, that well gonna run dry. Okay, it's gonna come a day that somebody's gonna expose that shit. And it's to the point that that's gonna be a done deal, man. You know, it's gonna be a done deal. But anyway, let's go here. It's an article. Black Enterprise. And it's so funny though, because they captured the essence of this so beautifully. Because look, they got the scowl, they got the argumentative chick. She's very argumentative. No, she's combative. She's aggressive. You know, she's all these things, man. Look at her. She's totally angry. And they captured that. But it says new eye-popping data shows what is not often cited in the nation's labor force, but fresh numbers reveal that unemployment for black workers this year is steadily rising, especially for black women. Okay, and they trying to blame it on that DEI shit, which stands for diversity, equity, inclusion. You know, they want to blame that, and a lot of companies lost their grants because of it, because they like, we're not finna just fund you niggas, man. Because see, what they don't tell you is that the reason why black women get the job 2 times over Jake is because, for one thing, minorities. A woman is considered a minority and also a person of color, so that helps their tax credit purposes. You know, if they hire a woman, and the fact that she's a black woman, they get bigger tax breaks. So why not put them in a job force over the men? Yeah, you get tax break with the men too, but if she's a woman and a so-called minority or Hispanic or Native or black woman, they get tax breaks. So this is the reason why in every job, especially these bureaucracies, it could be like literally 300 people on a payroll and literally 225 of them will be black women and maybe 75 men that work there because they get big tax break. This is why a lot of black women are in bureaucracies like city jobs, state jobs, federal jobs, and stuff like that, because I mean they get tax breaks off that shit. So it ain't because you have the credentials or you're educated. No, they hire your stupid ass because it helps their company. You know, in return they put this false sense of pride in you to go in and destroy yourselves. But it says here, a disturbing trend was identified in the latest information from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. But among other findings, the report disclosed that the jobless rate for black women rose to 6.1% in April, a full percentage surge from 5.1 in March. So wait, we're in May right now. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So in 7 months, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If this happens 1% every month, you can literally have black women that's unemployed at a 13% by the end of this year, man. If the numbers continue to rise a point a month, depending on how bad this economy gets, man. Because the scriptures say there should be no work for Egypt. All right. But it reads, it says, in contrast, the unemployment rate for white women in April was 3.3%, unchanged from March, and 4.6% for Hispanic women. It says the same as in March. It says women and other groups generally do not face racial and gender discriminations like black women. A factor in a job is a rate discrepancy, right? And the reason why a lot of you are fired is because of your goddamn attitudes, man. Okay, you come in there, like, and they always putting out reports every week at work about dress code, you know, because like when I go in the office, I mean, you got predominantly Hispanic and black women that work there. And you got Edomite women too, but the Edomite woman, she comes in a, you know, in a regular attire. She's not revealing too much. She's covered up. She's not with her ass out. But you go to the black woman, even the fucking head director, ass is out, titties is out, you know. And I mean, she pretty thick, so she can't really hide what she has. She tries to cover up, but even then, you got women that come in there with sandals on, their cleavage is showing, their titties are out. And they're just like, goddamn, it's a mess. And it's these black women that's doing it, man. And then they get mad at you when you look at them like a bunch of prostitutes, man. It's crazy. But anyway, this is the book of Jeremiah 31-22. It says, how long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? It says, for the Lord have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man, all right? And I've called that the feminism scripture, because through feminism, the tenets of feminism, this is what we've bred today. A bunch of unlawful, disgruntled, angry women all over the place. No order, no structure, no guidance. Just totally out there wrong, you know, and fucking up. Just out there, man. Diseases all over the place, man. It's a scary ordeal. But the Lord said he created a new thing. A woman should compass a man. But now we're seeing those numbers flip. Because now the Most High is getting ready to put the Israelite man back on top, according to Isaiah 32. And when you go into that word compass, it goes into around. And you compass, or a compass is basically a way of saying circle, right? So it's all around, you know. So as a whole, these women has elevated themselves above us through particular political systems, man. But you tell them that, they don't believe it because in their mindset, it's the pride. Okay?
Came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is black women. So let me be clear. Because
When the mainstream media directly lies to people so they can feel more superior, we have a problem here. I've been seeing this headline, black women are the most educated group in the US. It's actually Asians that have the most degree attainment. They are also the most enrolled.
See? Got our ass. So they put certain things out there. Propaganda. They propaganda, how can I say it? Propagandize and sensationalize a lot of these women to think, man, certain factors. So therefore, they have a convoluted reality on life and they don't really understand. So they'll read some shit on Facebook. Oh, black women are the third to come up in the world. They'll read some shit somebody put together and it's not even statistically true. But when you look at this chart, Asian and Pacific Islander, right? 41% graduated 4-year college. That's wild, bro. That's almost half of them that go to college, damn near graduate. Now, of course, you got to look at the factors about going to school abroad and visas, because a lot of them could come over here and get incentives on education, or we go over there and get free education. But, bro, they only have a 50% of ones that didn't graduate college. 9% that graduated 2 years. Now, when you go to the Edomites, it says 28% of them finished college. And that's sad, given this is your kingdom. You only have a 28% graduation rate of a 4-year college degree. It's wild. 6% graduated 2-year, which is a junior college, and 66% did not graduate or did not enroll. Now, you got all races. But let's go down to the black. 14% graduate from 4-year college. They don't even tell you how many they don't even tell you how many graduate community college, and then you have 81% that did not graduate college or did not enroll. And Hispanics, so you have the lowest rate when it comes to finishing college or not going to college. You know, 14%. It's not a whole lot. So somebody's lying, talking about we're the most educated. As a matter of fact, let me screenshot this because hey, I like to have receipts because I'll get into this debate with a bitch. And I'll throw this at her quick and see what she gonna say. But anyway, let's play a little bit more.
Asians by far have the most college degrees in this country.
But don't be fooled. This isn't some harmless victory lap or a desperate attempt to speak their fantasies into existence. No, it's far more sinister than that, I promise you. It's a calculated move, an arrogant flex, meant to thumb their nose at black men. A condescending campaign designed to demoralize and emasculate black male authority. And while castrated winter soldier simps like Van Jones and Van Lathan wouldn't recognize an insidious backhanded insult if it came in the form of an axe kick to the skull. Your Grace, Lord Destro has no intentions of letting this slide. We will peel back the layers of these guerrilla tactics as the truth begins to surface about the collapse of the I don't need a man ideology, about the actual chaos and desperation many of these women find themselves in. I want you to never forget the Cold War that was quietly waged against you by the bitter sisterhood. And let this also serve as a reminder to uplift and show gratitude for the smaller but far more valuable population of virtuous feminine black women, those who honor the anointed role of a man in society, the ones who vow to be his rib, not his cancer. Oof, that's beautiful. I love it.
Meanwhile,
I want you all to take a look at this really quickly. It says a 12-foot statue of a black woman has been placed in the middle of Times Square in New York, created to represent inclusivity. So as a way of inclusivity, they have placed a statue in the middle.
Booking a trip soon? This is the ultimate hack to maximize your savings. You're thinking about Expedia.
A New York.
So it says here, and men are laughing at your ass. Most educated, most unemployed. The most educated with the most useless degrees. Yeah. Here you go to school for fucking design and or medical building and coding. That shit is not cheap. What? fucking $10,000. Hey, you go to school for medical building code, and then you don't even get a job in this shit. And you go to school for web design and all that other stuff, which, I mean, the demand is out there depending on what state and city you live in. Like in certain states, like if you live in Hayes, Kansas, there's not a big demand for web design out there. That's a small college town, man. You know, if you're going to go to school for web design, you got to move to places like LA, Chicago, New York, you know, Boston. But even then, are they going to pay you a salary that's equated to live out there? So you go medical building code, and you go in to CNA, you know, get your nurse's license. That's a high demand for that. That's why a lot of black women are trying to go to school for nursing, and they're cutting corners because now programs are telling you, like, look, you don't even need a 4-year degree. We'll offer you this program, 12-month program, apprenticeship, and then you can get your CNA license. You work under a licensed nurse for like 2 years, and bam, you could become a full nurse, because they have to cut corners because they know that you're mentally incompetent, man. All right, but overall, you're going to school, web design, interior design, you know what I'm saying? Business management is always good, but honestly speaking, why would they choose black women to do business when you have different demographics out there? You know, you got Elam, you got Moab. These are people, you know, that's known to thrive in business. So I'd rather hire a coolie before I hire a fucking black woman, especially if I can pay him a cheaper salary than paying this bitch here. I will hire him any day over her, you know? But it says here, even their monument is an overweight, bitter auntie standing alone at Times Square. Nailed it. Not to mention the most student loan debt delinquency. It says, dang, most educated, most unemployed, most evictions, most undesirable, most single moms, most at climbing the charts for nothing good. And if this is not a wake-up call to you so-called black women, we don't know what it is. I mean, these are men that, dude, like, these men have been burnt by these bitches, man. And I know I've been burnt by a fucking black woman. I know how they get down. I got a mother, you know what I'm saying? I got an auntie, grandmother, you know, because you a Jake man, you gonna have more women in the family than men. And that's just the reality of it, man. But I've seen firsthand on how wicked these women are. Hell, I got a fucking daughter, bro. I don't even like my man. I had a 15-year-old child, man. You know what I'm saying? And she's a demon. You know what I mean? I've seen worse. She's not like horrible. She's not horrible at all. You know, she have a decent head on her shoulders. But the fact that the mother who she resides with fucked her head up, which is going to make it a detriment for her salvation, man. But this is the reality of it is, these men have been literally taken advantage and played by these bitches, man. So these same men that you read in the comment board, they're going to walk right over you. The time of famine, pestilence, and the time of help, these men are literally going to walk right over your ass, man, and they're going to keep it pushing. Y'all done nasty work, Keisha. I don't think you can make, it's to the point now that the Jake man is through with you. He's going overseas. And that's your own fault. Proverbs 14:1. Every wise woman built her house, but the foolish pluck it down with her hands. Yeah, you totally destroyed your house because you listened to the serpent. You wanted to get above your man, and this is the result of it. Now he don't need you. He don't want you. And if he is dealing with you, he's only having sex with you. And of course, you got a couple of them suckers out there that still get on their knees and propose to these women. You know, like you got Jake, man, that's still predominantly, because when Jake get married, he marries black women predominantly because that's the only option he has. But if you a Jake and you still bowing on one knee and you're proposing to these women, then you got a serious problem, man. And that's going to end out bad for you, because they say most marriages end in 80% divorce, especially if the bitch been married 2 or 3 times before you. You think you're going to work out? You think you're going to change the demons in her? Nah, man. And she's probably getting married to this dude despite the last nigga she was with. You know? So, looking bad.
New York City. And also with that statue, they have, it's a monument. Some people have considered it to be a movement. Now that's one headline. But I want you to take a moment and look at the next headline. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics April jobs report shows Black women lost 106,000 jobs in April.
Can't be. This can't be right.
Now, before you start randomly sending out cash apps to ex-girlfriends and side chicks, well, not the army of Cobra, by the way.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Just remember hearing these strong, independent women play in your face like this just a few months and years ago when they believed that they were on some sort of international glow-up tour.
Flashback.
I do not agree with giving a man anything. Nothing. A woman should never give a man anything. And that's because men thrive and men are the best versions of themselves when they are independent and they're making money.
Ladies, repeat after me. You never help a man. Again, you never help a man.
Hey, so check it. You're in a relationship for about 4 years, but recently your man just lost his job. In a situation like that, what would you do?
Yeah, of course I'd still be with him as long as the intent is for him to seek new employment. That's actually happened to me before. So I held it down just a little bit. It wasn't for long.
Good.
You know, life happens, especially when that happened to me. It was COVID time.
Good.
So I was an essential worker, but, you know, a lot of people got laid off. So it's cool.
Yeah.
As long as he's not trying to stay like that permanently. But it's okay with me.
Facts.
Would you rather be trapped in a forest with a black man or a bear?
Definitely a bear. I ain't gonna cap.
What? Why bear?
Cause I feel like the bear wouldn't try to me. You know, I'd rather.
And she said she'd rather be in the woods with the bear. So remember that, brothers. Remember what this demon just said. And the bear is not known to show mercy. And the funny part about it is a lot of them is going to give, the Lord is going to give them over a lot. The Lord is going to give a lot of them over to that judgment off the strength of that. See, the Most High has a way of bringing people's fears and delusion among them. So, hey, you're going to have to play out that scenario because literally you may be in the woods with a fucking bear because we coming to the time now, and that's the spirit. It was a report of a black bear that was running loose in Kansas City a couple of days ago. So the Lord has a very strange way and a very funny way of answering scoffing calls like that. I'd rather be with a bear. Okay, well, you know, and the times we coming in, the wildlife will be let loose in these cities. And I got a strange feeling that a lot of you will meet that fate. All right, this is the book of Amos 5, and I'm gonna start at verses 19. It says here, matter of fact, let's start at 18. It says, woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. It says, to what end is it for you? It says, the day of the Lord is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him. Okay, so y'all got that all well. Yeah, I'd rather be in there with a bear. Like the scriptures say, a bear being bereaved of our cub. Hey, that's how the Most High is gonna roll on you black women, man. Fuck out of here. That's straight defying, man. I'd rather be in the woods with a fucking bear. What if that bear ain't eaten in 6 months after hibernating? You think he gonna spare you? He will track you down and he will eat you alive, man. And it says, and the bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. So should not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? You know, and I wanted to bring that out in tandem with what she said. Get another precept. Serpent cutting you hoes off. Jeremiah 4, and I'm going to start at verses 30. And it says, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? It says, though thou clothe thyself with crimson, and though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, and though thou radiance thy face with paintings, you know, that makeup you put on, you know, you spend hours getting ready for your boss in the morning. Like a lot of adultery takes place in these jobs, man. Like a lot of these corporate women, these corporate baddies, they get up in office because they're having sex with the bosses, man. You know, that's just how it goes down, especially a so-called black woman, because she's an opportunist. And it says, though thou closest thyself with crimson, though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with paintings, in vain should thou make thyself fair, and thy lovers would despise thee and would seek thy life, man. So, hey, he's cutting you off at the knees. They cutting $24 billion in federal aid, no more Section 8. They're getting rid of all this shit, man. And they're ultimately getting ready to overthrow you, Jakes. Getting ready, they basically cutting ties with you, man. And finally, and it says, for I've heard the voice as of woman in travail, and anguish as of her that bringeth forth our first child. The voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hands, saying, woe is me now, for my soul is weary because of murderers. And they go try to run back over here with us and act like they never left. See, Keisha, she has a funny way of trying to see, and the thing of it is, she will never apologize, man. You know, she'll just act like it never happened. You know, all of a sudden they friendly and they want to give you the numbers and they want to start filling up on you, you know, because they feel like, you know, Jake is that stupid. But instead, you got to hold them accountable. That I don't need no man spirit. They all had that spirit on them, man. But they want to come up and brush up on you and try to talk to you and be all friend with you and give you some of the, you know, they give you some of that tainted box they got, you know, and then she try to ease her way in there without giving an apology, man. No, you have a lot to do. You have to come back begging and humbling the so-called black man because, hey, the black man is the power over the earth, man, under Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. She's your closest thing to the Most High you gonna get, and this is a righteous so-called black man. Not these niggas in the street. A righteous man of the Lord is the closest thing of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai you gonna get to on this side. And you wanna fuck that over? You stupid. Don't believe me, just wait till it happen.
But die didn't get, you know what I'm saying?
So why not the black man?
Why not the black man? Because they be a little wild out here, like, they lack boundaries.
Yeah, but bitch, you birth niggas like that. The niggas that you're complaining about, they come out of your fucking vajayjay. And the niggas you lay down with, you look at this bitch, bro. Look at the hair. Like, how you gonna be bald head with baby hair, bro? That's crazy. That's crazy work right there. That's literally baldness mapped into a gel to give a baby hair, man. But if you take them braids off, that's all the hair she got on her head, man. I literally got more hair on my face than she got on top of her goddamn head. That's sad. You know, but these are the ones that's breeding these YNs. The same nigga you complain about that ain't men, you breed them.
It's more than any other race, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, Now, if you would say like a white man or something, I don't know.
She said she'd rather be with the devil than a so-called black man. Okay.
But the facts and the statistics are starting to expose a brutal truth. These women made a serious miscalculation when they burned their bridges with the nuclear family and turned their backs on the black man. Look around, brothers. The government is shrinking, and many of the jobs they used to dangle in front of your faces like trophies are quietly being replaced by AI. The future is circling back to what men have always brought to the table.
It's this simple to get your dream body. Get this app called Fitbod and go to workout settings to set your preferences. If you want to build muscle, choose build
mind and muscle. Yes, manual labor, STEM, skilled trades. These fields are rising in value again. Not those liberal arts jobs that once propped up the illusion of the strong, independent woman. Take note of the shift, my brothers. The storm is changing direction, and like we've done since the dawn of time, we must adapt.
The highest rate of unemployment amongst all workers. That means that globally, black women have been laid off. Last month, globally, 106,000 black women were laid off. Consistent job loss. But then, for some reason, you get a statue in the middle of a major city.
Meanwhile,
Black men unemployment decreased from 6.1% to 5.6%. And these
Jake, they winning.
These figures suggest that black women are facing a unique challenge in the current labor market.
So wait, did you catch that? Did you hear today's mathematics? Trust me, the mainstream media won't say a word about it. But yes, black men actually gained jobs last month. Around 48,000 to be exact. We're talking 55,000 so-called broke men are no longer unemployed, while the strong independent woman lost 106,000 jobs in the same time frame. The unemployment rate for black men has dropped from 6.1% to 5.6%. This is truly a Cobra la 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 moment. So amidst all the quote broke man slander, these same men quietly gained some yards on the field. But here is the real question. What will you do with this momentum? Will you once again empower the bitter sisterhood with this this influx of funds? Will you once again simp it forward on first dates, Puff Daddy baby lotion, and car notes? Or will you have some discipline? Will you raise this?
Yeah. They don't hold themselves accountable. All right? They don't hold each other accountable either. I mean, they would literally side with each other just off the strength of them being women. So why would you ever put your trust in something like that? A person that would literally side with somebody that's wrong, all because they're the same sex. That show you that they don't deserve no power. They're not supposed to be in no type of power. Isaiah 32:2, it says, and a man should be a hiding place from the wind. Let's talk about an Israelite man. Not these simpletons out here. Because you got a lot of simps out here still that still come to their rescue. As long as the simps are still here and kicking, these women will never fully hold themselves accountable. Period. You got to totally put your feet off the gas with them. You got to literally back up. And it says, from the wind and as a cover from the tempest, as rivers of waters in a dry place, as a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So, hey, brothers, they finna start coming in droves, man. You know what I mean? They finna start coming in droves. We was out Friday, and the spirit was just like, pay attention. And they do it so slick. But, bro, when I say that these women, they literally was just checking brothers out, shit was wild. I mean, they literally, like, the spirit slowed everything down. I mean, it's like it slowed down in bullet time. I was just seeing shit I normally wouldn't catch, because women, they'll check you out, but it's like you wouldn't even catch it because it's so quick. You don't see them looking at you, but you kind of feel it. Spirit slows shit down. I'm looking. I mean, we stand up, they're looking. I'm outside talking to the security dude. You know, we out there just talking, and they looking outside. I mean, just thirsty. They come get in the club, whatever. Not the club, but the little spot. Because we don't go to clubs, you know. It was like a little bar restaurant we went to, some food and shit. And I mean, they just standing there looking. I was sitting down eating yesterday, eating my food and watching the game. This one big black woman, she come and she stand over my shoulder, and I felt her, and I turned around. She's like, oh, I'm sorry for standing over you. And I'm like, no, you're not, you know. But it's something that they're noticing something, man. You know, it's something that's changing. The ball finna be in our court in a minute. And it says here, and the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. Also, the heart of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerer should be ready to speak plainly. And the vile person should no more be called liberal, nor the troll should be bountiful. Right, man, because the liberal here, liberalism, you know, liberating, it's all fucking vile, bro. This is the reason why you have Me Too movements, you have slut walks. Just total vile. And I'm going to go down, and it says, but rise up, ye women that are at ease, and hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear to my speech. And we've been warning the black woman. The apostles been warning the black woman going back to the 80s, the 70s, man. Okay, the black woman has been, she's been getting got on since the late 60s. So literally 70, 80, 90, 2010, literally going on 60 plus years, we've been getting on this fucking woman. And it says, many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless women, for the vengeance to fail and the gathering should not come. Yeah, your jobs, you losing them. Your child support, eventually, you ain't going to be getting no child support eventually. All right, you ain't going to be getting no alimony. You ain't going to be getting no government aid, no federal assistance. And they're going to leave it on the state level. And, you know, the state, you're right, the state is known as, the state will rob you. Okay, the state will literally take your money from you and not even think twice on giving it back. So the state is the last place you want to leave your money in the hands of the state. You're right. It says, trouble you women that are at ease, and be troubled ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. It says, they shall lament for the teats and for the pleasant fields and for the fruitful vines. But upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of the joyous city. Because the palaces should be forsaken, and the multitude of the city should be left. All the forts and towers should be for dens forever. A joy of wild asses and pasture of flocks. Okay, so it's going to be through, man. But I'm going to end it. All praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Hawashai. Lord's will, you will edify. To the next lesson. Shalom.